When you're dealing with a situation where someone is pulling away, ghosting you, or acting distant, your first instinct might be to react. You feel that knot in your stomach. Your mind starts racing with questions. Why are they doing this? Did I say something wrong? What can I do to fix it? And before you know it, your emotions start to take control. That's when people start making the big mistakes, blowing up their phones, sending long emotional texts, trying to talk it out when the other person isn't ready to listen, or worse, blocking them out of frustration. But here's the truth: the moment you let emotions take the wheel, you lose control of the situation. You start acting from a place of fear, scarcity, and insecurity, and that energy never attracts anyone. In fact, it does the opposite. It pushes them further away. That's why your first job in these moments is simple, but not always easy. Stay calm, stay cool. Calmness isn't just about looking strong, it's about actually being strong. It's not about pretending you're okay while secretly spiraling inside. It's about shifting your mindset so you truly feel steady no matter what the other person is doing. Because when you're calm, you send a silent but powerful message: I'm in control of myself. I'm not needy. I'm not chasing. I'm not desperate for your attention. Think about it. People are naturally drawn to stability. We're wired to feel safe around those who are grounded. When someone feels like they're dealing with a storm every time they talk to you, drama, emotional swings, high intensity, they start looking for the exit. But when they sense that you're like a rock in the middle of chaos, it makes them want to be around you more. That's attraction at a deeper level. This is why not blocking is so important. Blocking out of anger or hurt is an emotional reaction. It's basically saying, I can't handle my feelings, so I'm going to shut the door. Sure, there are situations where blocking is necessary: extreme toxicity, harassment, abuse, but most of the time it's just a knee jerk move that screams weakness. It tells the other person you're not in control. And even if you unblock them later, they'll remember that impulsive decision. Instead, you want to practice emotional discipline. When you feel that urge to react, to send a text, to block them, to demand answers, stop, breathe, step back. Remind yourself that your power is in your ability to choose your response, not let your emotions dictate it. You don't have to do anything right now. You don't have to fix it this second. You can sit with the discomfort and let the moment pass without blowing it up. That's where calmness becomes your edge. Because when they expect you to explode and you don't, when they expect you to chase, and you don't, when they expect you to crumble and you don't, they start seeing you differently. They start to wonder why you're not reacting the way most people would. And that curiosity, that's the first spark that can pull them back towards you. Calmness also gives you the mental clarity to make better moves later. You can't make smart decisions when you're flooded with emotion, but when you're composed, you can actually think about your long game, not just the heat of the moment. You can remember the bigger picture. You're not here to beg for attention. You're here to live your life at a high level, and that's what makes someone regret letting you go. So, in these situations, your mantra should be simple: stay cool, stay grounded, stay in control. Because when you master that, you don't have to chase anyone, they'll start coming to you. Most people make the mistake of thinking they can win someone back by chasing harder. They believe if they can just show enough effort, send enough sweet messages, buy enough gifts, or constantly be available, the other person will suddenly realize their worth and come running back. But that's not how attraction works. In fact, the harder you chase, the faster the other person runs. When you're in a position where you feel you have to get someone to choose you, you're already operating from a place of weakness. The truth is, attraction isn't something you force, it's something you inspire. And the only way to inspire it is to stop chasing and start leading. Leading doesn't mean trying to control the other person. It means taking charge of yourself and your life so strongly that you naturally become the kind of person they want to follow, the kind of person they respect, and the kind of person they feel pulled toward without you having to push. Think about it. When someone sees you fully immersed in your own purpose, pursuing your goals, enjoying your life, they feel the energy shift. You go from being the person constantly orbiting around them to someone who has their own gravity, and gravity attracts. It makes them want to be closer, not because you demanded it, but because they feel drawn to it. Chasing is desperate energy, leading is confident energy. The difference between the two is night and day. When you're chasing, you're basically saying, my happiness depends on you, and I need you to give me validation. When you're leading, your actions say, I'm already fulfilled, I'm already living at a high level, and you can be a part of this if you want. That shift in energy is magnetic. The moment you stop chasing, you stop feeding the dynamic that pushed them away in the first place. If someone feels like you're constantly seeking their approval, they'll start to lose respect for you. Respect is the foundation of attraction, and once that's gone, it's almost impossible to rebuild unless you flip the script and start leading your own life again. Leading also means making decisions based on your standards, not your fears. If you're afraid they'll leave, you'll tolerate behavior you shouldn't. You'll bend your boundaries just to keep them around. But when you lead, you set the tone for how you expect to be treated. You communicate with your actions, not needy words, that you're not afraid to walk away if someone can't meet those standards. That's real strength, and people notice it. Here's the twist: when you stop chasing, you create space for them to step forward. Instead of you constantly filling the gap with texts, calls, and plans, they have the chance to miss you. They start to wonder what you're doing, who you're with, and why your energy feels different. That curiosity is what makes them reach out, not because you beg, but because they want to be around the new, confident, self directed version of you. And don't get it twisted: leading doesn't mean showing off or trying to make them jealous. It's not about proving a point, it's about genuinely living your life in a way that feels good to you, whether they come back or not. Because here's the reality: when you truly embrace your own path, you stop obsessing over whether they'll return. And that's exactly when they're most likely to. Stop chasing, start leading, and you'll never have to wonder if you're doing enough to keep someone interested. The right people will naturally want to keep up with you. When emotions are running high and you're feeling that urge to fix things immediately, one of the hardest but most powerful moves you can make is to give them space. Most people can't handle this. They feel the distance and instantly they want to close it. They think, if I just talk to them now, if I just explain, if I just keep showing them I care, they'll change their mind. But the truth is, pushing when someone is pulling away only makes them pull further. Space isn't about punishment. It's not about playing games. It's about giving both of you the breathing room to reset the dynamic. When someone is feeling suffocated, overwhelmed, or unsure about how they feel, your constant presence becomes pressure. And pressure kills attraction. The irony is, the less you try to hold on, the more they start to loosen their guard. Think about a fire: if you smother it, it goes out. But if you give it air, it burns brighter. Relationships work the same way. Sometimes the best way to reignite interest is to step back and allow curiosity to build again. You're not blocking them, you're not begging them, you're simply creating room for them to miss you. And that can't happen if you're always right there, filling every moment with your presence. The power of space is that it shifts the energy in your favor. When you stop forcing interactions, you allow things to happen naturally. This also protects your dignity because you're no longer trying to convince someone of your value. You're letting them rediscover it on their own. That's a completely different energy than chasing. Giving space also gives you time to recalibrate yourself. When you're in constant contact, your focus is on them, what they're thinking, how they're feeling, whether they're pulling away or coming closer. But when you step back, you get to redirect that focus back onto yourself. You can think clearly, see the bigger picture, and remember your own worth without their validation. Now, here's where most people mess this up. They think giving space means disappearing completely and hoping for the best. That's not the point. You don't have to vanish like a ghost. You simply need to stop over-investing. That means no endless texting, no unplanned drop-ins, no constant check-ins under the disguise of just seeing how you're doing. Keep the door open, but don't keep walking through it every 5 minutes. When you handle space the right way, something interesting happens. Instead of feeling chased, they feel the absence of your presence. Instead of assuming you'll always be there no matter what, they start to wonder what you're up to. That curiosity slowly grows, and in time it can turn into a desire to reach out. And when they do, the dynamic is different. They're coming toward you, not the other way around. It's also worth remembering that space isn't just for them, it's for you too. Sometimes, in the middle of all the emotion, you don't realize that you might actually be better off with time apart. Space lets you see the truth of the situation without the fog of constant interaction. It gives you the chance to decide if you really want them back or if you were just reacting to the fear of losing them. So giving space is sits weakness is strategy. It sits not about indifference. It sits about confidence. You sit say, I'm here. I sit some fine, and I sit some not going to force anything. If you want to be in my life, the door is open, but you sit so have to walk through it on your own. When someone pulls away from you, the worst thing you can do is sit around, overthink, and wait for them to make the next move. That's how you waste days, weeks, even months stuck in your head, replaying conversations, obsessing over what went wrong, and wondering when they'll reach out. That's not living, that's putting your life on pause for someone who's not even there right now. The best move you can make? Shift all that energy inward. Focus on self improvement. See, this isn't just about keeping busy so you don't think about them. This is about becoming the version of yourself that you're genuinely proud of, the version that makes you excited to wake up in the morning. The side effect of doing this is that you naturally become more attractive, not just to them, but to everyone around you. And here's the key, you're doing it for you, not as some trick to win them back. Start with your physical health. Get back in the gym, even if it's just a short workout to get your body moving again. Clean up your diet. Pay attention to how you dress, how you carry yourself, and the little details that send a silent message about your self respect. When you look better, you feel better, and when you feel better, you carry yourself with more confidence. That confidence is magnetic. Next, invest in your mind. Read books that expand your perspective. Learn new skills. Challenge yourself to grow in ways you've been avoiding. Most people stay stuck because they don't push beyond their comfort zone, and you can't afford to be most people right now. The more you grow mentally, the more depth you bring into every interaction, and that depth is what makes you stand out. Don't forget your social life. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and push you to be better. Reconnect with friends you've neglected. Meet new people. When you have an active, fulfilling life outside of any relationship, you radiate independence and joy, and that's exactly the kind of energy people are drawn to. Self improvement also means facing the parts of yourself that you've been ignoring. Maybe you've been carrying bad habits, toxic patterns, or insecurities that keep showing up in your relationships. This is your chance to work on them. Go to therapy if you need to. Journal, reflect, get brutally honest about the areas you can improve, and then actually put in the work. And here's the beauty of this process, as you start to level up in all these areas, you naturally shift the dynamic between you and the person who pulled away. Instead of being the one who's waiting and wondering, you become the one they're curious about. They start to see you differently because you're no longer the same person they left. You've evolved, and that creates intrigue. But even more importantly, self improvement changes the way you see them. Sometimes by the time you've invested months into building a stronger, healthier version of yourself, you realize you don't even want the old situation back. Your standards rise, your perspective changes, and you start attracting people and opportunities that match your new level. So don't waste your time trying to figure out what they're thinking or when they'll come back. Use that time to become someone who doesn't just get chosen, someone who gets to choose. Because the stronger, sharper, and more confident you become, the more the right people will naturally find their way into your life, and the wrong ones will fade out without you having to lift a finger. When you've been putting in the work on yourself, getting in shape, improving your mindset, leveling up your life, the next step is to let the world see it. This isn't about showing off or trying to rub it in someone's face. It's about living your best life openly, unapologetically, and allowing your actions to speak louder than any words you could ever say. See, a lot of people make the mistake of hiding their progress, thinking, I don't want them to think I'm trying too hard, but that's not the point. You're not curating your life to make them jealous. You're simply being transparent about the fact that you're moving forward, that you're happy, and that you're doing things you enjoy with or without them. That kind of energy is contagious and it naturally draws people towards you. When you're out living, whether it's going to events, traveling, picking up new hobbies, or spending time with friends, share those moments, post the pictures, let people see the smile on your face and the light in your eyes. That's not a performance. That's you documenting your reality. And when your reality is full of purpose and joy, it tells the world and anyone watching that you are not stuck in the past. The beautiful part about this is that it changes the way people perceive you without you ever having to say a word. Instead of being the one who's heartbroken and waiting, you become the one who's thriving. That's a powerful shift in identity, and once people see you in that light, it's very hard for them to forget it. Living your best life publicly also flips the dynamic. If the person who pulled away is still keeping tabs on you, even if they don't reach out, you can bet they'll notice the change. They'll see the growth, the confidence, the energy, and they'll start to compare it to the version of you they remember. Curiosity turns into interest, and interest often turns into action. But this isn't just about them. By putting yourself out there, you open the door to new connections, opportunities, and experiences. You show the world that you're available for more than just one person's attention. And when you operate from that abundance mindset, you stop obsessing over who's not in your life because you're too busy enjoying the people and opportunities that are. Now, it's important to be genuine here. Don't fake happiness. Don't stage moments just to post them. People can sense when something's real and they can sense when it's forced. Focus on actually building a life you love, and the authenticity will shine through without you having to try. Real smiles beat staged ones every time. Another benefit of living your best life publicly is that it keeps you accountable to yourself. When you're showing the world what you're up to, you're more likely to stay consistent in your growth. It becomes a positive cycle. The more you do, the more you want to do, and the more opportunities come your way. And remember, this is not a revenge tour. You're not trying to make someone regret losing you by throwing your life in their face. That kind of energy comes from bitterness, and bitterness is never attractive. Instead, you're simply putting the focus back where it belongs on your own happiness, your own growth, and your own experiences. When you do that, the right people will notice, the wrong people will fade away. And you'll realize that living your best life out loud is not just about attracting others, it's about inspiring yourself to keep going no matter who's watching. Patience is one of the hardest skills to master when emotions are involved. When someone is pulled away, every part of you wants to speed up the process and force an outcome. You want to send the text, make the call, break the silence, and get that instant reassurance that everything is okay. But that urgency is exactly what pushes them further away. The real power move here is to let them come to you on their own terms and in their own time. When you've stayed calm, stopped chasing, given them space, worked on yourself, and started living your best life, you've already done everything you need to do. At that point, the ball is in their court. This is where most people mess up because they get impatient and ruin all the progress they've made by trying to speed things up. They can't handle the quiet, so they fill it with action that comes across as needy. But here's the thing, attraction grows in the space between interactions. It's in that space that they start to wonder about you, think about you, and even miss you. When they notice you haven't been blowing up their phone or begging for their attention, it triggers a different response in their mind. They start to think, why aren't they chasing me anymore? What are they doing? Who are they with? And curiosity is a powerful motivator. The more you can resist the urge to force contact, the stronger your position becomes. Not only does it keep you from looking desperate, but it also gives them the chance to take the lead. That shift is crucial. When someone reaches out to you of their own free will, the energy of the conversation is completely different. They're engaged because they want to be, not because you cornered them into responding. Patience also communicates confidence. It says, I'm not worried. I trust myself, I trust my value, and I trust that what's meant for me will find me. People can feel that kind of energy, and it's incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Most people panic at the first sign of distance. When you don't, you stand out. It's also worth remembering that patience isn't passive. You're not just sitting in a dark room waiting for them to call. You're living, you're improving, you're meeting new people, you're staying busy with things that matter to you. This keeps your life full and your energy high, which not only makes the waiting easier, but also makes you even more magnetic when they do reach out. And if they never do, that's okay too, because the version of you that emerges from this process, the one who's calm, self assured, and living fully, will attract better opportunities, better relationships, and better experiences than the one who is stuck in the cycle of chasing and begging. You win either way. When they finally reach out, you'll be in the best possible position to respond from strength, not desperation. You'll have options, you'll have clarity, and you'll be able to decide from a place of confidence whether letting them back in is truly what you want or if you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed their approval in the first place. So let them come to you. Because when you've done the work, kept your standards, and stayed patient, the right people will find their way back and the wrong ones will simply stay gone. Either way, you'll still be moving forward.